The fears over toxic fallout from that hazardous train crash in East Palestine, Ohio, is sparking new anger. An apology from the train operator is being met with outrage from people who live in the community.
At 6 a.m. One thing I would like to say, and address one of the last speakers, is that we are sorry. We're very sorry. We feel horrible about it.
Now, that's a spokesperson for Norfolk Southern at an emotional town hall last night. Norfolk Southern ordered to attend that meeting after pulling out of an earlier meeting in the immediate aftermath of last month's crash. Magda Gabriselassie has been following developments on the story and here with us this morning once more. We heard some of the rage. You hear the crowd in the background there from people in East Palestine. What did they say to the company representatives once they had this chance for a face-to-face confrontation, Magda?
Well, Heather, it all boils down to the fact that they don't feel safe in this community anymore. They feel like it's contaminated, and even though officials are telling them the water and the air continues to be tested and that it's safe, they are not trusting that because of what they say they are feeling and experiencing. People in that community say their health is suffering. Take a listen.
Every person that I've talked to that's reached out to me does not feel comfortable in their own home. They either have severe issues, reactions, their kids vomiting, nosebleeds.
I'm begging you, by the grace of God, please get our people out of here. Yes.
They're worried about long-term issues. So after the derailment and the call to vent and burn the vinyl chloride that was on board to prevent an explosion, well, there's been concern about dioxins, environmental pollutants that can stick around and potentially cause cancer and other illnesses. And while the Environmental Protection Agency says there's a low possibility of that, it's now requiring the rail company to do some sample testing on the soil for dioxins. Last night, the company's representative tried to reassure the people there that they are getting things done. Take a listen.
We're going to do that. We're going to do the right thing. We're going to clean up the site. We're going to clean up the site. We're going to test until we get all the contamination going.
So the company's continuing to clean things up, and it's now presented a plan to remove more contaminated soil that includes removing the train tracks to get at that soil underneath. And that, Heather, is something that residents have been calling for.
So the cleanup's part of it, Magda. What about the investigation into what actually caused the derailment in the first place? Where do things stand with that?
The National Safety Board is continuing to dig into this, and last week we heard investigators say they're zeroing in on a number of contributing factors. They are looking at a starting point of this with a wheel bearing that was heating up to a critical point. They're investigating the rail cars, the immediate response, the cleanup, everything. But really, a full report on this investigation could take up to a year. Now, what we know is next week, there's going to be a Senate hearing looking into this. The CEO of Norfolk Southern is set to be questioned. Meanwhile, you have President Joe Biden, who keeps getting questioned himself on why he hasn't visited this community yet. Take a listen to what he said yesterday.
I've spoken with every official in Ohio, Democrat and Republican, on a continuous basis, as in Pennsylvania. I laid out a little bit in there what I think the answers are. We put it together, and we will be implementing an awful lot into the legislation here, and I will be unemployed soon.
Now, when exactly he will visit that community, there are no details on that as of yet, and we don't know who he will be meeting with when he does visit. Heather.
Lots to cover on this next week, too, then, Magda. So we'll pick up this conversation then. Thank you very much. Magda Gabriselassie, she's in Washington.